Ugh, geez, Si, did you wear enough cologne today? I bet they smell you all the way in Astera. Didn't take you for an orange scent kind of guy.
First off, I'm not. I prefer lavender for your information. Second, it's not my fault.
While I was gone to the old world, I stopped to see my daughter in Kamura and decided to help her out on a few hunts. The last one did nothing but pelt us with fruits. 10 showers and 3 layers of skin later, I still smell like citrus. The Fiverr bro even tried to eat me to see if I taste like oranges. Yikes, what kind of monster does that? I smell fruit! I think you should run.
Agreed. Tell the commander I'm on sick leave again. Humans are an interesting species. In comparison to just about every other animal in nature, honestly, they are weak and should be very close to the bottom of the food chain, honestly. But thanks to their intelligence, they were able to learn to use and develop tools to aid in their survival, allowing them to climb to the top of the food chain. However, humans are not the only ones capable of this. A number of animals with high intelligence have also mastered using tools, such as fellow primates like orangutans, or even birds such as crows. And thus, it only makes sense that a creature that shares traits of both birds and primates shares their intelligence and knack for tool use. An ingenious creature capable of weaponizing something as simple as fruit, the frenetic ascetic Bishaten. A closely related species to Quechua, the Bishaten has a very odd body shape, much like its cousin. A body mostly covered in cream-colored fur that transitions to a dull orange at the end, with blue fur on its arms and legs that transitions to a bluish green at the end. Their feet have 3 toes, with their hands possessing 4 fingers, including an opposable thumb. And, similarly to their cousins once again, they have a pair of patagia on their arms in the form of primitive feathered wings that allow them to glide short distances. And as a final connection to their cousin, they have a very unique tail ending in a 5-fingered hand, allowing them to grab onto a surface and hang from there, or stand on it like a kangaroo. And most notably on their head, alongside a flowing mane, longer for the males of the species, and long ears, is a bony protrusion between the eyes, ending in a beak-like structure on its jaws. Found in the cooler, temperate, water-filled regions of the shrine ruins and flooded forest, Bishaten is an omnivorous species, occasionally munching on insects like Banahabra and some other small monsters, but their main preference is fruit, to the point they've developed a pouch on their belly specifically for them to store fruits in, covered by a pair of furry tufts on their chest that almost look like boobs. They love fruits of all kind, but their favorites appear to be persimmons, and for the most part, they are rather peaceful creatures. Like their cousins, the Quechua, they are curious and will come to investigate any new arrivals they find in their territory, but they're rarely hostile. However, they are rather mischievous and enjoy pulling pranks, usually in the form of throwing fruits at their target. And as I said, their favorite fruits are persimmons, with skin slightly harder than an apple. Ever have an apple fall on your head? Then just know being hit with a persimmon is worse. So I guess just wear a helmet if you're going to those zones. Then again, I'd recommend that anyway, since both locales have monsters so much worse than Bishaten. That being said, the Bishaten are still wild animals and can get into nasty scraps sometimes, being willing to tangle with foes as large and powerful as
as Almadron. And they do have a tendency to be bullies, especially towards a creature known as Bombadgy, a badger-like small monster that stores explosive gas in its stomach. For whatever reason, they have a generational hatred towards these things and pelt the poor creatures with persimmons almost as soon as they lay eyes on them, even if they've done nothing to them whatsoever.
Why you bully me?
So, what will it look like if a Bishaten attempts to bully you? Well, Bishaten is incredibly agile and acrobatic, many of its moves involving flipping, spinning, and twisting as it smacks you with its feet or its tail. And, as stated earlier, they are capable of standing on their tails in order to swipe at you with their claws, or they'll hang from cliff sides and swing themselves back and forth while swiping with their claws. They can also use their wings to glide forward before flipping and slamming down on you with their tail, or they'll use their wings for their ultimate attack, standing on their tails and launching themselves forward at high speeds while spinning with their wings extended, becoming a tornado of death. In addition, their movements are highly erratic and unpredictable, either strafing to the side while prancing on their feet, or spinning and twisting around while stood on their tails. But their true prowess in combat is their ingenuity and use of weaponry. Being weaker than the monsters we face, the greatest advantage we hunters have is our strategy, equipment, and tools. So seeing a monster use tools and take away one of the few advantages we have is quite concerning. And their weapon of choice? Fruits.
You serious?
Now, I know that sounds underwhelming, but it would be a grave mistake to underestimate their usefulness. They can lob persimmons and other fruits at you at the speeds of a pro baseball player, throw two at a time with their tails, or even unleash an onslaught of fruit. They can also do this while prancing and weaving around on their tails or while hanging from a cliff, so they can hit you while making themselves a difficult moving target. And they carry a wide variety of fruits, some of which have nasty properties the Bishaten can use against you, such as poisoning you with a poison fruit, paralyzing you with a parafruit, both of these fruits able to either be thrown at you or smashed into the ground to create a cloud of their toxins, or even blinding you with a flash fruit, a fruit that, upon being smashed into the ground, unleashes a blinding flash of light, all while it can regain a bit of vitality by eating a jumbo fruit. So, how should you handle a Bishaten stepping out of line? Well, they don't like it when things get chilly, so ice is your best bet, with fire being a decent option and thunder being better than nothing, which in this case is water and dragon, being completely ineffective. Also, blast and ice blight will be quite helpful. In addition, while their tail is strong and can hold their weight, it will buckle under that weight if enough damage is applied, so they can be knocked right off a cliff with an arrow, bullet, or throwing knife, and on occasion they may drop their supply of fruits when knocked down while standing on their tail, allowing you to pick up and use the fruits they once used against you on them, or alleviate some damage with jumbo fruits. And of course, the Bishaten armor is also quite the sight to behold. Very exotic and almost gives you a slightly fox-like appearance, and the weapons are also rather feathery and fluffy. A nice blend of cool and cute. So that is the Bishaten, a fascinating and quite fun monster that uses both its body and the environment around it to full effectiveness, and as long as you're not a Bombadgy, you should be fine and maybe even able to enjoy this creature's exploits. But we're not done with these creatures quite yet, as there is a subspecies, the Blood Orange Bishaten. But since that name is quite long, he is also known by a shorter, yet no less intimidating moniker of Bob.
Oh, good. Good. I was worried it was something intimidating, like Sheldon or
Tim.
So firstly, the obvious, the color is different. This Bishaten now a much more intimidating, yet slightly stylish, black and orange, hence the name. And the habitat they live in is also much different. They used to only be found in the Citadel of the Kingdom, but after an invasion from a certain flying leech that shall not be named, they relocated to the Shrine Ruins and the Sandy Plains. And another change is their behavior. They're still rather curious and won't just attack you for nothing, but it doesn't take much for nothing to become something. Any slight wronging of this beast will earn its aggression and desire for vengeance. And that vengeance will be brutal. And they're also quite sadistic when getting their revenge. Look at him! He's laughing at his brethren getting horribly burned. So yes, in addition to being decently stronger than the original, doing much better in a fight against Almadron, the main difference is that Bob can breathe quite decently sized and powerful streams of fire, and their choice of weaponry is also different. The Citadel is a very unstable biome, so fruits are not easy to come by. Instead, they favor a large species of pinecone, and they can use these to insane effect. They can simply throw them at you, bounce nearly a dozen of them along the ground at you, or even whip 2 of them around itself defensively like spinning tops of death. And if that wasn't enough, these pine cones are somehow explosive, so they can take one in each hand and slam them into the ground, sending 2 waves of explosions at you. And their ultimate aim is to trap you in a cluster of pine cone pieces as they do their devastating spinning flying attack to light the pieces of pine cone, burning you before exploding you. So what should you do to survive if you get on Bob's bad side? Well, unfortunately, these guys will not drop pine cones like how normal Bishaten drops fruit, and they don't tend to hang on cliff sides anymore to easily knock them down from. So you're mostly going to have to rely on your element this time, for which you are going to need water first and foremost, with thunder being the next best option, and ice, the weakness of the original Bishaten, only being slightly better than nothing, which once again is dragon, with fire also being useless. But for some strange reason, even though they're constantly handling explosive pine cones, they are also vulnerable to blast as well as water blight. And despite them not hanging from cliffs anymore, they do still stand on their tails, which they can be knocked off of just like the original with enough damage. And once again, the armor is just so cool. The original armor was great, and this one just has a superior color pattern that manages to be an interesting blend of exciting and intimidating. Especially the male version, which gets a very cool, very menacing mask to complete the ensemble. And so, that is everything on good old Bob, Blood Orange Bishaten. It's a really cool and fascinating monster, even if its behavior is a little concerning at times. But even so, it is just an incredible creature. Its coloration is fantastic, and despite having only one weapon, its pine cones, it manages to be just as versatile with them as normal Bishaten is with all of its fruits. The countless ways it finds to make use of a simple pine cone is amazing, and despite being slightly more aggressive, it's still a decently chill monster. Just don't give it a reason and you're unlikely to end up on the wrong side of a pine cone. So there you have it, everyone. That is all the information I could dig up on Bishaten. This one was actually quite a bit difficult, as the Monster Hunter Wiki is where I get most of my information on these creatures, particularly the ecology submenu, which has a lot of details on most creatures usually, but Bishaten's was actually blank, and Blood Orange Bishaten didn't even have an ecology section, so I had to fluff up up a bit what was there. It was a little bit more difficult than usual, but still, it was manageable. And like I said, I love this monster. It's so cool looking, and how it uses fruit is just adorable. How it uses its tail to hang from walls and stuff, and the way it moves is just insane. I had so much trouble trying to pin it down the first time I ever hunted it. It was crazy, and it definitely earned my as a solid middle of the food chain monster. It was challenging, but not overly so. It was manageable. And like I said, really cute and really fun. I love its weapons. I love its armor. All of it's just amazing. And Blood Orange Bishaten is equally amazing. Like I said, it just has the one weapon. It's pine cones, but with all the things it can do with them, it's easily on the same level as normal Bishaten, maybe even above it. Like I said, I love the coloring even more. Orange and black is a great combo, and the mask the male armor gets is so cool. Just everything about it is amazing. The only thing I don't like is, like I said, that they kind of bully the bomb badgies a little, but that's just one minor note. But still, they're really fun monsters. I love fighting them and seeing them out in the wild, and I love talking about them here. And so for next time, we're on to Behemoth, the first non-Monster Hunter monster. That's gonna be really interesting. It's a cool beast to fight. It's so much different than anything in Monster Hunter because obviously it's not originally from Monster Hunter, but all the magic it uses and the fact that it was the first monster to have the enmity mechanic, that was really interesting, and the fact that it has a ultimate attack that can destroy pretty much the whole area and you can only escape by hiding behind the comet or using the jump emote is really cool. It's a little annoying if you can't manage to save the comets or time the jump right, but it's still really interesting. But of course, it also killed Best Boy Dodo, and for that I hate it and it will suffer my wrath. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully you guys are too. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this, want to see more, go ahead, slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share it around with all your friends. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I'll see you in the next video. But until then, ladies and swordsmen, stay sharp.